Today, President Biden continues his trip to the Bay Area, but protesters are using his visit to try and send a message to the White House. On Wednesday, San Francisco's Marina Green became the landing pad for Marine One. The president flew here to make a withdrawal from the Bay Area campaign ATM. Earlier, local leaders were at SFO to greet the president upon his arrival at the airport. That included San Francisco Mayor London Breed and his longtime colleague from his days in Congress, Nancy Pelosi. The president stayed at the Fairmont Hotel between fundraisers. He has had 2 of them in San Francisco so far. They were yesterday, and he's attending another one in Los Altos today. The Hill reports tickets for a meet and greet cost as much as $100,000. With the president in town, protesters got about as close as police would allow them to. Where Kelsey Thorud shows us the crowd in Pacific Heights.
Free! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Hundreds of pro-Palestine supporters rallied at a park not far from the president's scheduled event, calling on him to support a ceasefire in Gaza and end military aid to Israel.
I think he should be stronger and stand up to Netanyahu, who's basically turning around and saying, we're not going to do anything you say, President Biden. We don't want a 2-state solution. So he's laughing all the way to the bank, and I want Biden to look strong and not weak.
He's the president of the United States. We're the most powerful country militarily, economically, in so many different facets. He has the power to influence the international community and help out. If he wanted to, he could.
Many of these protesters told me they continue to feel like their government and President Biden specifically are ignoring what they see as a humanitarian crisis.
You have a right to protect yourself, but destroying the housing of 1.5 million people, that is so unnecessary to protect yourself. It's genocide.
These protesters say they hope President Biden understands when it comes to his re-election. His response to the war will play a big role in who chooses to support him.
I think he needs to continually be experiencing the pressure that the majority of Americans are not down with how he's treating this, and that we're not going to shut up, we're not going to be quiet until something's actually done about it.
Now, the protesters did march down the road here towards where the president's campaign event was. They were diverted and then stopped by police still a few blocks away from that event.
While here, President Biden signed an executive order to boost cybersecurity at U.S. shipping ports, including the Port of Oakland. The order gives the Coast Guard greater authority to inspect or control ships that present a possible cyber threat. Oakland has already seen what a ransomware attack can do to the city's infrastructure. A security analyst told us a cyber attack on the port could bring major disruptions to the global supply chain. Another concern is the equipment at the ports. Around 80% of the giant cranes come from China. Officials worry they can be used by hackers to infiltrate computer systems.
It wouldn't take much for a threat actor to embed a piece of malware inside a crane as it's being shipped to the U.S. So those pieces and parts could all be controlled centrally from an unfriendly country, and that's not something we can tolerate in something as critical as a port.
The Biden administration says it will invest $20 billion in port infrastructure over the next 5 years.
And President Biden continues his visit to the Bay Area today. Here's a live look at San Francisco's Fairmont Hotel, where the president is staying. The president met with the wife and daughter of late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny today in San Francisco. He is expected to travel to Los Altos Hills for a fundraising event today. Then the Hill reports tickets for that meet and greet cost as much as $100,000. This comes after 2 fundraisers in San Francisco yesterday with the president in town. Pro-Palestinian protesters gathered in Pacific Heights just blocks away from where the president was holding a campaign event.
This morning I had the honor of meeting with Alexei Navalny's wife and daughter. As to state the obvious, he was a man of incredible courage. And it's amazing how his wife and daughter are emulating that. And we're going to be announcing the sanctions against Putin, who is responsible for his death, tomorrow. And the one thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda is she's going to continue the fight he had underway. So we're not letting up. Thank you.
Mr. President, why are you firing protesters?
Mr. President, is it possible that sanctions are not enough for Russia?
Okay, everybody, we're going to load up.